Hey everybody, my name is Ted Slade. Turn that T into a D, that's me. It's alright, I wasn't good at spelling in school either. I'm going to be performing a little stand-up comedy for you guys. Please give me some pity laughs, whatever you gotta do. Don't make me bomb, it's on my first show. So it's really good to be here in Pflugerville. I don't understand the spelling with Pflugerville, P. Pfluger. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like pterodactyl, right? You know, the flying dinosaurs. Or like pneumonia when you get fluid in your lungs. My sister married a guy named P. Fanner, or it's Fanner. I don't understand the whole silent P thing. It's like fancy, like PH fat, whatever. But, so I do a lot of humanitarian work around Texas. I help overweight Americans with transportation. I help the mentally challenged and work alongside a lot of mentally challenged folks. And I also work with rehabilitating a lot of convicts. So I guess you could say the oil field's treating me pretty well. The thing, you know, love it or hate the oil field, everybody here needs it in some way or the other. You know, Tesla's the new wave or whatever, but the tires that the Tesla rolls on, that's oil, baby. So, the thing I love about the oil field, besides the paychecks and the time off and whatever else, is you get to say things to your supervisors that you've always wished you could say in an office setting. Me and my buddies, you know, you ever had that supervisor that just like, you could never do anything right? And like every time he just always had some critique for you, right? Well, I've had hundreds of those, and I'm an engineer in the oil field. And I still to this day get treated sometimes like an 8-year-old child that's just not following the rules. And so me and my buddy would be standing there like in the oil field working our 16-hour days, and we'd see our supervisor that just hated us walking around, and we'd look at each other and say, wouldn't it be so great if one of those high-pressure pipes just bursted and chopped him in half? I know it's a little dark, it's a little morbid. And then I would run over there, I'd help him out, start giving him CPR, and he would still critique me. You ain't doing it right, Ted, you ain't doing it right. So then I would just grab his neck a little bit and just kind of just go to sleep, Nick, go to sleep. But things I hate about the oil field, the hours, waking up, the travel, the remoteness, the temperature, the people, the pollution, everything, that goes alongside of it. I hate it too. But it's a good job for now. But one thing that I really hate is a lot of people think when you work in the oil field, you're a tough guy. And just because of my stature, I'm not a tough guy. All right? I'm a soft, sensitive father of 3. And, but so many people, I don't know if it's like they watch too many prison movies, people like want to start stuff with me all the time because I'm like the biggest kid on the playground or whatever. And so I got tired of people messing with me, so I decided to sign up for Taekwondo. Yeah, I'm fucking trained. So I did 8 years of Taekwondo at the YMCA. Now, as a questionably heterosexual male, going to a YMCA 5 days a week for 8 years straight, I learned some great moves. I was probably the only straight dude in my entire Taekwondo class. Most men sit around and they envision with their families or whatever, oh, if a bear attacked my family, I think I could take a bear, at least for like 3 minutes so they can get away. Have you ever defended yourself against 3 gay bears? I have, every day. And I also learned that I would identify as a bear while I was there. Thank you for that information. So, because of this, I got the strongest low block this side of the Guadalupe, right? I can defend my nether regions like none other. So after 8 years, I graduated from Taekwondo school, or whatever you call it, and my master, I didn't have a master Dave, I had a master Dave because he was fabulous. He was a 6th degree Korean trained black belt. Now, once I got my black belt, I was feeling untouchable. I was bulletproof. So I decided to go out on 6th Street, party it up like everybody does, right? Well, I used to frequent this bar that had a gay bartender named Dimitri. Dimitri was about 5'8", 5'9", maybe 150 pounds. Kind of looked like the body of a marathon runner. Dimitri had the hots for Ted Slade. I used to feed into that because I liked free drinks. So Dimitri would be like, boy, you're looking hot. And I said, boy, I'm too hot to handle. He would be like, oh, when I get you home later, I'm gonna tear you up. And I said, I told you, I will back this up into you, right? And I would just get fed free drinks. I'd have a $300 bar tab where I paid about $5. Well, after a while of me frequenting this bar, Dimitri decides it's time to cash in on all my free drinks. As the bar's closing, I didn't even know this was legal. As the bar is closing, the bartender leaves behind the bar. I didn't know they were capable of that. I thought they just lived there. So the bartender leaves behind the bar, pushes me up against the wall, and plants a kiss right on my mouth. I'm a newly graduated black belt. I said, when it's fight or flight, I'm fight all day, baby. I learned that day, I'm freeze. I was so shell-shocked. I came to about 3 minutes later as I realized I was outside of the bar and he was pulling my arm towards his car. I said, not today, Dimitri, and I shoved him. He turned around so quick and gave me the old 1-2 piece. I dropped down to my knee. He kicked me one more time in the face, and I was out cold. Now, as a heterosexual male, you don't tell nobody about getting your ass beat by a gay dude. There's about 2 things you can do wrong in your life. Get caught playing with Barbie dolls and getting your ass beat by a gay dude, right? So, again, I just really, I don't like people who fight. I feel like anybody who's like out looking for a fight, it's like a bully mentality. And I feel like just everybody should love everybody, right? Go Flint Tropics. And my dad used to tell me all the time, I used to get bullied going to school growing up. And my dad used to always tell me this one rule: son, you don't fight a crackhead. And I never understood what that meant. But the people that used to bully me was a crackhead. So every day when I would get home from school, the bus would drop me off about 2 blocks away from my house in front of a Circle K. And in front of this Circle K gas station, there was this crackhead named Darius. And Darius, every day I would walk home from school, he'd be yelling out, hey, you crack-ass cracker, or whatever else, right? And all these slurs at me. And I would just have to take it. I was 8 years old. And then as time went on, I eventually became 16, and I was about to get my driver's license. And I said, you know what? I've had about enough of Darius. I'm going to show him what's up. I'm in the prime of my life. I'm 16 years old, about to get my driver's license. I'm varsity, baby.
I'm so sorry.
I was that typical high school jock wearing Letterman. So finally, this one day, I get enough courage, and I walk over, and I said, Darius, why don't you shut the hell up? And he said, boy, I'd chop you up faster than a line. And I said, oh, really? And I hit him twice, as hard as I could. Darius didn't even blink. His eyes just got bigger, and somehow his teeth got more disappeared. Darius was on me harder than Ralphie in the Christmas Story. He was wailing on me, and at one point I thought, this is how I go down. My eulogy's going to say, Ted Slade at 16 years old, beaten to death by a crackhead in front of Circle K. When he was done whooping on me, he takes my backpack. He says, this is mine now. And I say, yes, sir. And he grabs all my books and he says, why don't you take your nerd shit? And he throws them at me. So I limp on back home. My shirt's tore up, bloody nose, black eye, gash above my eyebrow. And I walk in the front door. My dad's normally never home. My dad says, son, what happened to you? And I said, oh, nothing, Dad. I fell. He goes, it looks like you got in a fight. And I said, well, I'm not going to lie to you, sir. I did get in a fight. He says, well, who did you fight? I said, oh, I just fought somebody in front of Circle K. And he goes, who'd you fight? I said, Dad, you know Darius? He goes, son, you fought a crackhead? I said, yes, sir, I did fight a crackhead. And he goes, son, what have I ever told you? I said, you don't fight a crackhead, you lose against a crackhead. So when I raised my 3 boys, we lived by 2 rules in our house. The First Amendment in the Slade household, do not be a snitch. The Second Amendment in my household, you do not fight a crackhead. I've taught my 18-month-old, don't fight a crackhead, and he just runs around going crack, 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 crack. He understands, right? The pain that was inflicted in me on that day, getting beat up by Darius, was almost as bad as getting my ass whooped by a gay dude on 6th Street. Thank you, everybody. I'm Ted Slade.